Revolutionary Girl Utena is one of the most influential anime ever made, up there with Akira, Dragon Ball, and G1 Transformers. Its influence can be seen in everything from magical girl anime to American cartoons, sometimes literally with specific shots being referenced, and sometimes more subtly, such as merged architectural styles and the use of visual metaphor. I finished it for the first time recently after seeing this Tumblr post where Utena lost to Avatar The Last Airbender in a poll. It was really funny. I wanted context, so I watched it. It took me a while, but I watched it, and wow, I get it. It's unfortunately the victim of hype rot, where the hype around the show means that it inevitably disappointed me. But now that I've had time to think about it, I get why people sing its praises. Now, this is a Night at the Museum channel. Why am I talking about this weeb shit? Well, I love talking about things I enjoy, so I'm going to subject you all to my interpretation of Utena. I haven't read or watched any other interpretations, and the most I've done is skim the Wikipedia page for the synopsis, reblog some Tumblr fan art, and sometimes peek into the official upload comments for memes and reactions to the oh shit moments. This is my raw, surface-level interpretation, and it's all just my interpretation. I am not the authority on this show. I'm a voice actor, with a need to kiss tiny cowboy Owen Wilson. I also haven't seen the movie yet, so I won't talk about it here. It's on my to-do list. This will assume you've seen Utena, and will be abound with spoilers. My name is Ian, and this is Utena's Gilded Cage of Gender. A gilded cage is a metaphorical sentence. Gilded means made of, or covered in a thin layer of, gold. A gilded cage implies a beautiful place that you cannot leave. Ohtori Academy, the setting of Utena, is where this gilded cage is at its maximum. Notice how the school is the only setting explored in real time. Flashbacks are not on Ohtori's campus, and they're the only snapshots of the real world. They do not leave its campus, even to fight the duels for the Rose Bride. It's meticulously kept, with nary a fallen leaf out of place. The students live on campus, in dorms. Their every need and hobby is provided, and they have no real reason to leave. It's all there is. For a good 70% of the series, I thought they were on a college campus instead of a K-12 school. It wasn't until Nanami started dating Mitsuru and everyone said that he was an elementary schooler that I realized it. This freedom given to these children that they cannot leave is similar to a cow's pasture. They can wander as they like within the bars of their cage. Insert Nanami cow clip here. How does this apply to gender? The Shadow Girls put on a play for Utena and Company where they pretty much spell it out. Girls can only be princesses or witches. In the real world, this is ludicrous, but Ohtori Academy is not the real world. It is a gilded cage that the students are stuck in, unable to mature. It is the view of a fairy tale, the exact thing the series has been drawing its imagery from since episode 1. Princes, princesses, swords, shining armor, duels, duty, that sort of thing. It is all a fairy tale. In fairy tales, girls are either princesses or witches, and there is no other option. This is not true of fairy tales either. There are maids, farm girls, queens. Why does this dichotomy matter in Utena? Why are these the only two options? They are the options that serve princes. Either an object to save or an object to kill, both to raise the glory of a prince. This false dichotomy of women serves the men of the world of Ohtori Academy, where every woman is a metaphorical princess, a servant to men, or witch, the enemy of women and men. Enter Utena Tenjo. The first scene we see is Utena declaring that she would become a prince. From the very beginning, Utena is challenging this view of the world. She starts with the legal defense. There's no explicit written rule that says she cannot wear a boy's uniform. Later, when she's being pursued by two professors, she is told that, while not explicitly breaking any rules, she is going against the spirit of Ohtori Academy. The spirit is a metaphorical legal entity, where it can change depending on the society that houses it, or the person that is allegedly going against it. It's one of the many metaphors of Ohtori. You must conform. You must. Utena, by not conforming to the school's idea of gender from before she even entered it, challenges the Gilded Cage's warden. She will not conform to it because she made a vow to become a prince. The choice of words the school council uses with the egg metaphor is not lost on me in 2025, where egg is a term for a trans person that hasn't realized they're trans yet. If you don't break the egg, you will die without being born. If you don't transition, you will live a life that is a hollow lie. Utena has smashed her own shell and is seeking the true, real life that she determines for herself. She has a duty. Speaking of duty, we must speak of Anthy Himemiya. Many years ago, she did her duty as a princess and defended her prince of a brother. By choosing to serve a man in her life, everyone else deemed her an enemy. She is both a princess and a witch, just by making a single choice. A good choice, too, making sure someone that's overwhelmed can take a rest. The swords are not literal. They are metaphors for hatred from the world. Anthy was Akio's fall guy, the one that took the blame for him. This trauma split her into two beings, her body and her mind. This metaphor is something I connected while watching episode 39. How was Anthy in the coffin and out of it? Well, this metaphor is one of dissociation. The image of Anthy Himemiya, perfectly demure, chaste, quiet, agreeable, submissive, is the state she assumes when dissociating. Herself, the true self that sits at her core, the one that can make decisions for herself, is locked away somewhere in her mind, so she doesn't have to endure the abuse of her brother head on. And it is abuse. Not just the slapping, but also the incest. When Utena tears open the coffin to reach out for Anthy and breaks my heart into a billion pieces, it is a representation of the beauty of human connection. Utena has gotten past all the bullshit, all of the duels, the societal expectations, the betrayal, the brutal line that inspired this video. And has at last reached the human being that is Anthy Himemiya. I found myself relating to Utena so hard during this series, specifically the thing about Anthy being her own person. That scene where she immediately says what she's commanded to after Saionji wins her back didn't convince me, and it didn't convince Utena either, that Anthy was an empty shell of a person. No human is an empty shell. Every human being has a rich personal life. No one's life is as empty as we see in media. It may seem empty to others, with nothing but school or work, but one's life is far more complex than anyone else can know. It's why memoirs tend to be bestsellers. Raw human experiences that one can relate to or balk at attract eyes. Utena remains convinced throughout it all that Anthy is a whole person, not a doll that can be used as the Rose Bride. Back to the gender metaphor. The dichotomy of princess and witch is passed by Utena to get to the human being at the center. Anthy Himemiya is the embodiment of both identities women can fulfill, and she is suffering for it. Utena, rejecter of this stupid bullshit dichotomy, bypasses the fairy tale surrounding it to get to the real Anthy at the core. Utena's insistence to not placate society by playing by its rules, her insistence on Anthy being a person, an autonomous person, and her genuine demeanor all allow her to get to the human being at the core of this story. Utena never played to the Gilded Cage's rules, never admitted or submitted to it. She had a duty to fulfill, to become a prince. She came here with a purpose of self-actualization, not societal placation. She doesn't care about boys or clubs or anything other than getting her grades and being nice to others. In a sense, Utena is growing up while her peers are not. It's the ultimate autism representation. Growing up, I was told that I would thrive in college but suffer in high school. And that ended up being correct. I've been happy as hail while in college. High school was so bad for me that I repressed most of it. I feel seen by Utena, growing up while our peers cling to childhood. The ending of the series is something that'll take a minute to explain, but hear me out. Anthy disappearing. This is the moment that Anthy Himemiya wakes up from her dissociation. She has been given the option by Utena Tenjo to leave the abuse that she has suffered under, to make her own choices, to exit the Gilded Cage. It's after minutes of Anthy saying that she isn't worth it, and Utena saying, "Of course you're worth it." The sword's turning on Utena. Without an image of femininity to turn on, the hatred of the world turns to that which will subvert it. Utena's transmask energy kinda explains it all here. She caused the perfect feminine image to fall away, and so the world blames her for it. Also possibly a metaphor for Anthy coming out as a lesbian and everyone blaming Utena for corrupting her. Utena's memory fading. This is just high school. Once you graduate, once you leave, you're forgotten. And you forget as well. I don't remember nearly anyone I talked to in high school. Maybe like 8 people at most. I don't speak to any of them anymore because we've all grown up and moved on. They are forgotten, as am I. That's the reality. It's the best reality, I think, to forget how people were at a snapshot of their lives, mid-puberty, hormonal, and stupid with the folly of youth. Anthy leaving. With Utena's relentless belief in Anthy's humanity, she is now able to leave the abusive world of Ohtori and her brother. She can leave the gilded cage of gender that has been built around her, just like Utena, and seek truth and reality. To those of you that made it this far and haven't seen Utena, thank you for sticking around. I found meaning in Revolutionary Girl Utena, and you likely can as well. It's a phenomenal show, rich and dense with symbolism and metaphor like fine tiramisu. Every single scene can be picked apart for meaning, even the ones you can't help but think are ridiculous and silly. After all, the jester sits on the court of the king for a reason. Please watch it. The sub and dub are both on YouTube and have been for years. Thank you for watching, and I think we can all agree that no toxic Yuri can live up to this show.